tell you now just who they are. Listen to their stories and how they tell when they joined and how they're doing so well. Telling us what it's all about today and how they are loving that own passive way. On passive, here today on passive, no better way. Listen to the Julie and the Milo show, so then you can be the very first to know. On passive, it's here today. Julie and Milo show is coming your way on passive.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Julie and Milo show. My name is Julie. I'm coming to you from Orange County, California. And today is August 24th, 2021. My dear friend Milo on the other side of the world, actually on the other side of the country, Nashville, Tennessee. Milo, if you could please say hello to everyone.
Hey, how you guys doing? It's Milo from Nashville, Tennessee.
Thank you, Milo. Milo, it's been a great day. We are getting back to our interview show. And this morning we get to talk to our founders. It's just such a blessing for both of you and I, because every day we get to talk about ONPASSIVE. And ONPASSIVE is the reason for all of us to be here. It is an exciting day because we know that ONPASSIVE is coming. And we had an opportunity to talk to ONPASSIVE founders across the world. Today in our holding room, we do have a special guest. We get to know her a little bit before the show. I can't wait for us to find out more about her. So Milo, if you could please introduce our guest.
Absolutely, Julie. Just talking to her before the show, we're in for a great show. So with no further ado, I'd like to bring out to the stage Juanda Woodward. Come on out, Juanda. All right, welcome, Juanda, to the
Hello.
show. It's so good to have you on the show today.
Oh,
Hello. Hello, Juanda. So good to have you here. Thanks for being here with us.
thank you so much, Julie and Milo. I feel like I'm on the Oprah Winfrey show. Will I get a gift before I leave?
You will.
Yeah, we're not sure what it'll be, but I'm sure we can work something out. So, Wanda, talking to you for the show and stuff, and reading your bio, we'd like to know where were you born? You know, and tell us about where you were born, your mom, your dad, your siblings, and now your family. You know, daughters, grandchildren, or whatever.
Well, I was born a long time ago back in Atlanta, in a hospital that no longer exists, actually. And I'm not married. I have one daughter and two grandchildren. My grandchildren are both grown and married, and they're also in the Atlanta area. Unfortunately, my parents are deceased, but all of my siblings, we're six. I'm the oldest of six, and we're all living and doing well.
Oh.
Wow. You're looking good, lady, Juanda, because, you know, the very first time I met you, I heard the way you talk. I heard the way that you converse with other, and I loved it. And I'm like, I got to bring her onto the show. I noticed on your bio that you're in the military. You're also a police officer. I know that you probably have a very interesting life. So please tell us a little bit of about you, the interesting things that you've done that you want to share with us.
I think one of the most interesting things from my childhood was my perspective of adulthood. And the reason why I say that is because I didn't buy into being an adult until I was almost 30. So as a child, I was inquisitive and everything, but as I observed my parents, my father was also in the military, retired, and my mother pretty much was a single mom since my dad was gone a lot. And as I, being the oldest, watched my parents interact as adults, I said to myself, I don't want to be that. I don't want to grow up in those things. It doesn't seem like fun at all. So as my peers I did go to college right after high school, but I quit early on. And my peers went on to do everything. They retired. 10, 15, almost 20 years before I did. I just got a late start, but not because I was slow, but because I could see early that being an adult was going to be a challenge. And I really did want to enjoy a bit of life before I got locked down with a ball and chain.
Right, right. So before we started the show, you were born in Atlanta,
Yes,
and then your home is in Ghana.
yes.
Could you talk to us a little bit? How does that happen?
All right, so in 2013, January, I moved to Accra, Ghana, to do missionary work with my Christian organization. And I fell in love with it. It was like a new frontier. So for the past 7.5 years, I have been living in Ghana, and I lived on my pension and Social Security. So I didn't really have to work. So I was able to pursue my spiritual interests full time. And I did pick up a little bit of side work to help out some friends of mine. And life was great. It was great. I'd come home once a year, maybe, see family, take care of, the legal stuff with being out of the country. And I had come back in December of 2019 because my grandson, the youngest, got married. So he married in February. It was wonderful. And as you know, by then, the fear of the COVID had started. And I was due to fly back home to Ghana on April 1st. And on the 20-something of March, the airports closed down. And my life with Ghana was chopped in half.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow. So now you're not exactly home. You are home hopping, kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, I still feel divided a little bit, but not spiritually, of course. But I'm divided because, that it wasn't planned. And that's how life is sometimes, and when you're abruptly, cut off without plans and, everything except your passport and is somewhere else, it's just sort of like, wow, I didn't have clothes for the winter. I just had a few things. I didn't have clothes for the summer when it came. I didn't have a permanent residence to stay. My granddaughter, her, nothing, no suitable thing where I could just easily rely on family for a while. That's not to say they didn't do, and I didn't stay with them. I did, but it couldn't work long term, because think about it, the whole world was in turmoil.
Right.
So then I went with siblings, and that didn't work out temporarily. So I was like, oh, what to do? Fortunately, a good friend of mine had the perfect circumstances, and now I'm here in Palm Coast, Florida. I've been here like 1.5 years now, and I am making plans at this point to return to Ghana to have unfinished business, and I have to, of course, start all over again.
Well, Wanda, seriously, if I didn't hear what you just told me right now, I would not have known. I've seen you on webinar. You're strong, you're confident, you always, but I did not know that what you're going through right now. So I have to say kudos to you for being brave. I mean, I know you're not home right now, but we're looking forward to soon for you to come back to Ghana.
Thank you.
Yes. So I'm sending it back to you, Milo.
Absolutely, man. What a story. That's a great story. And I love the part about you don't want to grow up. I think I'm still in that phase. Everyone keeps telling me you need to grow up, but man, I just don't want to do it, man. Those people don't look like they have fun that grow up too fast,
Yeah, they really don't. And it's so funny. You probably, both of you, remember the commercial, Get a Piece of the Rock, Prudential Insurance.
Yeah.
That was the theme when I was about 27, 28. That was a popular commercial on television. And I used to say, what rock?
Ah,
What rock? And it wasn't until I was about 30 actually that I started using that slogan. It's like, okay, you've traveled, you've done what you wanted to do, you know, as a young adult, experienced a lot of things. I said, I guess it's time for me to get a piece of the rock. And at that point, I went back to college, got an IT degree, worked in corporate America, traveled Australia, been around a little bit, things, did some stuff. And then it was like, okay, I did that. And you know how it is corporate work. I was like,
oh yeah.
you want to go on? I was like, no, I'm close to 50 now. 20, no. So I retired early and went back to living on a modest income, enjoying the freedom that I enjoy most.
Awesome. Awesome. So I know you went over to Ghana in missionary work. So I got to ask you one question. I always ask this. Do you sing?
I sing, but it's not always harmonious.
Okay, so you like music.
I love music. I love singing. I love dancing. In fact, Julie, when I watched the Maryland event, I spoke to Blessing the other night, and I was like, it made me so homesick for Ghana. When I saw the dancing and but anyway, that's another story. But yes, I do, Milo. I enjoy all of that.
So do they do a lot of dancing over in Ghana? And what kind of
my
music?
goodness, Africa's the seat of dance.
What kind of, is it English over there or is it?
Well, Ghana, like many, like South Africa, was colonized by the British. So yes, English is spoken, but they're not native Englishmen regardless. So the drum beat and the rhythm, is there.
So they speak English over there?
Oh yes, they speak English. It's the official language of Ghana. Okay. And but in most cases, it's not the language in the house. Julie, you probably understand what I'm saying. When you're home, right? You speak Vietnamese, yes. And then your children speak both, and you do if you need to. But it's just they speak the language of the heart. Is normally the language you're born in. When you express yourself the best is in your native tongue. So in Ghana, I think they have, I don't know, more than 20 languages, but there's about 5 or 6 more popular ones.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So is the economy over there, I mean, is it easier to live? I mean, you can live on less money over there?
The economy, when we're just talking about money, let's talk about that separate from living.
Okay.
Okay, so when I went, $1 was like $1 US was 2 cedis, 60 pesos. Now $1 is 5 cedis, about 60 pesos.
Ooh.
So there's a lot of inflation because they import a lot. The company has been, what happens to African countries. So all of their resources are, if there's still some, they're not owned, most of them by Ghanaians. Okay. So life is difficult. It's a free life. The people are free. They're sharing whatever, giving people in a general sense, but they are oppressed because of the conditions. So since the COVID, the price of staples has gone up. So what 20 Ghana cedis used to buy, it only purchases about a third of that now.
Yeah, $7 or so.
Wow. What's the average income for a family to be able to survive? Let's say a family of 4. What's the average of that for them to be able to survive?
A family of 4 could live on, like, let's see, that's $5, $10, $20 a day. No. $20 could almost hold them for a whole week. So what's 20 times 52? Wow. And some of them have less than that. But it averages out when you look at the fact that most of the time, the land that they may have or be living on, they don't pay taxes on it. If taxes come, they're little. Okay, so things are really upside down. If they put a little shack on there, like a lean-to, a kiosk kind of home, they only have to pay for electric maybe, and then maybe not even that. You're up in the day and you go to bed at when it's dark, if you can't afford that. So, but just look at eating. Two people could eat on $5 for the day, all day.
Wow.
But that's a lot, which means that's a lot of money.
Right.
So it's just difficult. I do send support to some in Ghana regularly because I was doing it when I was there. So for me to remove, that caused a strain, understandably. So, yeah.
Absolutely. One other quick question before we move on. You design tiny houses.
Yes.
Tell us just a little bit, take just a couple minutes to tell us.
All right. So, as you know, the tiny house movement started way before 2013 when I went to Ghana. But in Ghana, the mindset is set, and a lot of the influence that they have for building homes is based on outside Europe, America, big houses. So they'll start on a big project to build a house, and it may take them 10, 15 years to finish a house, if it's ever finished. And they'll live out of 1 room or 2 rooms, close that up and everything. And so that's a problem. Then the second problem they have in Ghana is that the low income people, they're building home, living in plywood huts that they build themselves and sit on concrete blocks. So that's the second problem. The third problem, even if you get a nice home and can afford it, most of the homes that are designed and built that people can afford to buy because they have civil work, those homes are built on the style of people who live a different culture. So they're not really designed for that culture where you spend most of your time outside. You use the inside for sleeping, and whatever, and you bath outside as well there. So I have taken the tiny house model and designed some tiny homes to fit the Ghana culture, which will allow them to have a small structure that could sleep up to 4, have outside living area where they can cook outside, clean fish outside, a little bit of space, enough space to do small gardening so you can grow like your own cassava, okra, little things like that, and have a fruit tree, and made it so that it will be affordable for the low middle class as a starter home. And then if they move up or are able to move up in their income and ability to do better, they can leave it to their sibling, or they can rent it and be a source of income.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, and then also sharing Ghana with us for us to actually know a little bit more about the people in Ghana. I know we are going to make some lives changing. We're going to change some lives, actually. So that's the reason for why we are here. I wanted to find out about you, Wanda. When did you join ONPASSIVE? How did you hear about ONPASSIVE? When did you join? And what made you take the action to join ONPASSIVE? And I think that's something that you have mentioned a little bit before our interview here. So yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, ONPASSIVE is my on passion. So a week or so before I heard about ONPASSIVE, I had been reevaluating where I was and what I needed, what I really wanted, and I had been prayerful about it, what I needed. And I got a text one day from somebody I didn't know, and they a WhatsApp, and they said, "Oh, I'm so and so and so, blah 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 blah. you know, you need this. The text said, this will be good for your business. Of course, I typed back, who is this? Because I didn't recognize the name. This gentleman I had met 5 years or so ago. Anyway, in the process of figuring out who he was, of course, I needed to have an attitude adjustment because of my prejudice. I did take a look at what he sent me. But I said, how is it that someone from Ghana can tell me that this is something I need for my business? So I was being a little Americanish of the situation, but nonetheless, I am a humble person at heart. So I did look at the offering. And when I did, I realized, because of my IT background and the last year and a half, I had gotten myself acclimated to online marketing. I saw it immediately. So within a week of knowing, I signed up to be a founder with ONPASSIVE, and that was in May 7th is when I signed up with ONPASSIVE.
Just a little bit, 3 months ago.
Yeah, just like 100 days ago, something like that.
Wow, wow. And congratulations. And I can see that it is a passion for you, because I've watched you on the webinar. I watched how you communicated with Ash one time, and I thought, she has a passion of ONPASSIVE there. So I wanted to send it back to Milo.
Awesome. Well, Wanda, it's been wonderful talking, but I know there's more to the story. And the more to the story is that, Ash, I believe that ONPASSIVE is changing the world one person at a time. And it started with Ash Mufaro, and he made the quote, he says, I might not be able to change the world, but I can change somebody's world. And I can read your heart, and I can tell where you're going with this. And I know that you have a plan to do just that. And as founders, we talk to them all the time, and we realize that, when we first get in, we're looking at, the income and, how it's going to help us and this and that. And then all of a sudden, a bigger picture pops up, and it's all about humanity. It's about blessing other people. It's about, when you get all those apples in, what are you going to do with them? Because they're just going to keep on coming. And if you don't do something with them, they're just going to rot, And so what I'd like to know is a two-part question. Number one, what is ONPASSIVE Apples going to do for you, Juanda Woodward? What's it going to do for her and her family, immediate family? And number two, what is your plans to help other people and help humanity?
Well, for me personally, ONPASSIVE has really already done so much, because I think the only thing that was missing for me is the fuel for my tank. It's like I'm limitless in a way in my ideas. I'm free flowing. I'm not stuck on any one thing. So for me, the money itself is just, liberty. Like everyone else, I'll finish off the student loans and, whatever. I don't even have a car right now, actually. So, I'll clear all of that away, and then I'll put the jet fuel in my tank. I already have an architect that I'm working with on my design, because I'm not an architect. And I will, put my project with the tiny homes in full steam ahead mode over in Africa. And of course, I've shared the opportunity and positioned some others as founders so that they can be free. I really, it's nice to support others, like on the one-on-one thing, but it's also nice to liberate others. And then it's not on your plate, which leaves you free for more things. So I'm off to do that in Africa, like Julie. I'm also going to do some traveling. And then I'm just going to be open for whatever comes, like Ash says, where's the ideas? Let's bring some ideas. I'd love to be a part of, some group think tanks on some things. I really like analytical thinking, I was a business process analyst with a multinational consulting firm, and I really do like processes. There's just something very comforting about knowing, from how to figure out where you are and where you want to go. So I'm open to that, and we'll see what, ONPASSIVE is like a movement. So
I love it. I love it. I think I can see you and I connecting pretty nicely in a way where it seems like you and I love travel, and we're kind of like a little angels just flying around and see what expected and wherever that needs it.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, that's why my 20s, I didn't do anything. I'm better without a box.
Yeah. So, Milo, did you have something you want to add?
I do. I want to follow up on the question about the little homes and stuff.
Okay.
How do you plan on giving these little homes away to people? Do you plan on them buying a spot and then it paying for that home, or what is your plans?
Okay, so my initial plan before all of the apples just came, that I can make whatever kind of applesauce I want. So my original plan, buy the land. So we're in the process of that. Buy the land, put in the plumbing, because, it's not all bells and whistles like in, most countries. Put the accommodation there with all the things that I said, and then market them to the civil service workers, not upper government, because those are the only ones that can get a bank loan. Okay, so dealing with their financial world. So that way we could take the proceeds, and they wouldn't be overly expensive and pricey or anything like that. That's not the purpose. Take the proceeds and buy more land and continue to do that. Now, one thing about the culture in a lot of places is that greedy people like to infiltrate, do the copycat thing, and try to overpower it. So I've already built in some safeguards for that. And so we will not be trying to do big communities. We'll get an acre or two and do it, and then we'll move to another town. So we want to spread it around, not just in the city, whatever. We want to spread it around, and we want to train teams so that in certain areas they'll understand the construction methodology that we'll be using to build them, because the way they build isn't always the best, doesn't last. So anyway, that's how we're going to do it. That was the first plan. I'll build on that now after the apples, and some of that will be gifted, but it will depend on, I have to come up with what that criteria will be, and blah, blah, blah.
Can I just ask you one thing, or tell you something that I think I've thought of this same thing, not in the way you have. I've thought of it in apartment houses and stuff like that. Okay, but do you realize that you could take, and a person could put $250 down, they could buy a spot, and after 6 months, chances are that spot would be able to afford that house payment or whatever, and it would pay that off. But not only does it do that, it builds your fund that you're giving away, and it makes it bigger. You see what I'm saying? Rather than having them get a loan or whatever. So you really can self-finance anything you want to with ONPASSIVE, I believe. That's the way I think.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I hadn't thought of it. Like I said, that's the platform that I'm leaping from, but thank you for that. I can see that actually working.
Absolutely. And I bring that up just for that fact that sometimes, when you were talking about think tank and people's ideas and stuff. And I think sometimes when you talk, you're saying what you want to do. And then I've already got in my mind about these apartment complexes and stuff. And all of a sudden I see that this could work here too,
Yeah, I like that, because I never thought about it from the other side of foundership, that could Financing. Yes, thank you,
Absolutely.
Milo.
And it will actually finance the whole project, you know.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful concept, but we're running out of time. I see we're almost at the end, so I need to turn it back over to Julie and Julie, take us out of here.
Absolutely. Wow, Wanda, thank you so much for being here with us. Love your story. Love what you're doing right now. I know you're very passionate about ONPASSIVE. Just take a minute and tell us your word of wisdom for the people that are actually sitting on the fence and not deciding, or the people that actually in ONPASSIVE but hasn't really done anything. I mean, you were JWoo with passion. So tell us.
I think I would tell the audience that it's one thing to hear about dreams. It's another thing to have a dream, but it's a total different world when you decide you want to live a dream. You have to take action to live a dream. A dream is just an idea in your mind. And if you don't act on it, it's called daydreaming. Okay, so are you a daydreamer? And then after you daydream, do you sit and you're mad and wonder how come they have it and you don't? You don't have to be that way. Just give it some thought. Think about what would really make you happy in the long term. Not today, not tomorrow, not even, this coming holiday season. You're worrying about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, if you can see your family. Just know that the rest of the world is wondering the same thing, but you have an opportunity to do something about your future and their future, your dreams and their dreams. So take a little action. Be like an infant. Take one step at a time. Obligate yourself to go to one meeting a week. Obligate yourself to tell one person about ONPASSIVE. Do your own due diligence. Watch somebody else's video. Find out if there's something in ONPASSIVE for you really, and figure out what that is before you give up. And for those of you who are already founders and you found this video and you're not doing the things I just mentioned, have a talk with yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I think not only that we take the action to become a founder of ONPASSIVE, and then take massive action to learn as much as you can, and then to share massively to other people. Thank you, Wanda, so much for joining us today. You've told your story, and I'm very sure the viewers who are viewing this program today get inspired by the story that she told, Wanda told the story. And not only that, take massive action. I mean, it has changed our life forever, ever since myself, Milo, who introduced me to ONPASSIVE, and then Wanda got introduced to ONPASSIVE, and it has changing our life, and it's going to change in a bigger way. So thank you so much, Wanda, for being here. Milo, do you have any last words? It
was a great show, man. I loved your heart. I loved everything about the show. Just keep on keeping on, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to be very successful.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Milo, for having me as a guest. I feel really privileged. I really do. And thanks for sharing your passion. It just makes mine more.
Thank you so much. And keep that smile bright, because I love it. It's beautiful. There you have it, everyone, is Juanda Woodward. What a strong woman. What a passionate she is. I do hope that you enjoy the show. And if you haven't been in the Julie and Milo show, please reach out to myself and Milo. Tell your story to the world. Tell your story how ONPASSIVE have changed your life. Please go to our YouTube channel by going to julieandmilo.com. Click a subscribe button and click the bell, because there's a lot of information there for you. Over 618 videos that you actually can take, and you actually can listen to the story of our founders. You can also share all the materials in there, very helpful materials for you. So I do hope that you enjoy it, and please go out there and take care of yourself take care of other. Good night from Orange County, California.
Good night, everyone. And thank you for coming to the Julie and Milo show.
Good night from Nashville.
The stories and how they tell.